Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host Adrian.
I'm Zach.
I am Jeff.
And we are here to talk about some board games.
Let's hope we stay on track.
Doubt it, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Pre-show's any indication, definitely not.
Yeah. Nope.
Nope. All right, so last week we did a top 10 episode.
We did.
It was super successful. I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
I think
People
it was
love lists.
Yeah, I told you straight up, people are going to love lists, and
Yeah.
guess what they did?
We should just make every episode a list of
A
something.
list.
All right, so without any planning, what's this list going to be? But no, it was. I think overall quality-wise, probably our best episode. I was real happy with it.
Yeah.
So hopefully you listeners were also pretty happy with it.
Except the part where I shit all over Agricola.
No, that was perfect.
First.
That was, like I said, that could not have been timed better.
Perfect.
Speaking of how you shit all over Agricola, you did that as you explained Caverna,
Yep.
which was a game that we played this weekend
We
because
did.
I wanted to finally experience that and see if it lived up to the hype.
Which you seem to play Agricola and Caverna in a very specific way.
Yeah, go ahead and describe it, Adrian.
I mean, if I'm going to be generous here and accurately describe,
Yes.
I get very passionate.
Floor slapping. There was floors were
Floor-slappingly
slapped.
passionate.
I regret that immensely.
No, that was just the passion. It was just.
I didn't flip a table.
No.
I didn't ruin the game. I wasn't actually mad. I'm pretty sure I slapped the floor with a big grin on my face because I got blocked for like what seemed like the 20th turn in a row. I think it was like the third. But I would have a plan, and then Jeff would go, and he'd take exactly what I was going to do next.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, that ruins everything I just planned. All right, I'll get a new plan. And then Megan would go, and she'd do it, and then Zach would go, and he'd do it, and then it's my turn. And my last three plans have all went to hell, and I have no idea what I want to do with my life anymore. My dwarves might as well just start stabbing each other.
So do you want to actually talk about the game?
Yes.
So Jeff, you taught us this, so go ahead and explain talk a little about Caverna.
I had only played Caverna probably 2 or 3 times, only maybe 2-3 players at most. So this was the largest game I had ever played.
Which is 4 players.
Yep. And also, Board Game Geek's recommended voted player count.
I can see that. I know it goes up to 7.
Goes up to 7 players.
That's pretty
30
heavily.
minutes a
Fuck
player.
that. So I know that it's supposed to be on the box. It says 30 minutes per player.
Yes.
And so it took about that long for us, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
about
a little
30 minutes longer with looking at
teaching
rules
and all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
It was
But
3 out of 4 were new players.
yes,
so.
exactly.
Yeah. And I hadn't played in a year since New Year's.
Yes.
The year previous.
Okay.
So I think that 30 minutes per player is a really good estimate.
Yeah, especially if you know how to play.
And I think that you could, with the 4 of us now having played, we could add a 5th and not add much more than that extra 30 minutes for another
Yes.
player.
I don't know. That'll be another person for you to get mad at though when they steal something from you.
Indeed. But then you guys will have a lovely story about how I got mad that you'll tell everyone.
And another
We haven't had a
one.
chance yet because it's
No.
not been game night yet.
No, it has not.
But when that happens,
You've still mentioned it to every one of
It's
our
true.
friends that we've been around
It's true.
this weekend.
When we played Pandemic Legacy, we mentioned that. Yeah.
I was not around any of these people.
No,
this
you weren't.
weekend.
But all right, Jeff, so continue with your Caverna explanation.
Caverna is a worker placement game.
It is.
If you have played or heard of Agricola, it is the spiritual successor, still by the same creator, whose name is unpronounceable.
Uwe Rosenberg.
Uwe, that's what I was saying.
Uwe. U-W-U?
UWE.
U-W-E. So instead of being farmers in the mid-1600s,
I don't know.
you
Just
are...
farming.
Yeah, you are
Farmers farming. There we go.
dwarves, and you are in a cave and in a forest, and you can gather animals and rock-like materials and build out your cave with cool-looking tiles. I've enjoyed Agricola quite a bit, and I thought Caverna would be quite awesome, and it was.
Yeah, make sure you get the pronunciation right.
Caverna, yes. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was number 1 on my top 10 list. And I think everyone agrees that is rightfully so.
Well, so I don't know if I will go that far. I've only played it once.
Yes.
So I'm not going to unseat Agricola as my number 1 right now. I did mention in that podcast that Le Havre is another one that has the potential to actually unseat Agricola as my number 1. Whether it will or not, I don't know. Caverna, I don't think, even with repeated plays, that it's going to quite top Agricola. I really like Agricola. I can't really overstate that.
Is it because of the cards? or is it like
No, just the general, like, so Agricola felt a little tighter mechanic wise. Like,
okay,
Caverna just had so much you could do that sometimes it felt like too much that you can do. And so I don't know, something about the difficulty with Agricola, like, I don't know. I need to play Caverna more, really, before I can really fairly compare them. I will say I did really, really like their mechanic for building up your farm / cave, where you laid the little tiles down and then you could further improve them. So you ended up with neat little stacks of tiles as they got more improved in things. I thought that was kind of an interesting mechanic.
No, I did too. Like,
because everything starts as like closed rock or a heavy forest. You clear the forest, and thematically you're getting wood off the supply when you clear out the board. Hence, you're cutting down trees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or you're getting rock because you're clearing out the cave, and then you get that into your supply. And then that sort of opens up strategies of building ore mines and ruby mines and what was the word for the rooms that you can build? Dwellings and
furnishing.
You could
furnish
you could
space.
furnish your
the
cave.
rooms,
Yes. Furnishing your cave was a cool thing.
And especially they had some really interesting names. The cuddle room was
you could store sheep with
equal to the number of dwarves.
Yes.
I will say I've played Agricola a handful of times, and I enjoy it. But I always felt that it was definitely one of the harder games in terms of not making you feel shitty, like you're doing a shitty job in the game.
It's like I'm last, and it's my fault.
Yes, because there were definitely some things I know I've played where I wasn't able to get growth in Agricola early enough, and then I just watch these people just do all these things, and I'm like, oh, I can't fucking do anything.
And Caverna's got at least 2 spots almost right off the start where you can grow.
Yes. And it just felt like you were right. There's a whole lot more to do in Caverna. And I like that because I had more to do, so I didn't feel like... I always felt like there was... On a turn, I could do 4 things. And so if 3 people took it, I'm like, well, I still have that other thing I can do. Whereas Agricola was always like, I need to do this, and this.
Lose.
And then like the second thing in there, someone took it. And it's like, well, that's wasted now, and now I have nothing to do.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel as punishing in general.
Okay. But see, the punishing is one of the things that like I have trouble articulating about why I like that about Agricola, especially considering how I react to the punishing nature of Agricola.
You're a masochist.
But
we get it.
I am. So anyway, that aside, one of the things that I do like about Agricola, and this is one of the things that we talked about on that top 10 show, was that some people think that Caverna is better because it doesn't have the cards. Some people like Agricola because it doesn't have the cards.
Yeah.
I don't think that the lack of cards detracted from Caverna at all. Like, I don't think that Agricola is better because of the cards.
Right.
But I do like the cards because I feel they give you just a little bit of like an early game guidance. Like you can look at these cards and be like, all right, I have these things I can build. I have these people that I can like hire, professions I can get for my workers. And that kind of gives you just a touch of focus in where to go in Agricola. And I think that's nice in Caverna, especially at the very start of Caverna. You know, it's my first time ever playing.
Yeah,
these
especially
huge boards
the first
laying out in
time,
front of you, and it's just like, what the fuck do I do to start?
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
this is nuts.
You wanted to do the full game, which doubles the amount of furnishings
Which
you could
I
use.
think because we played Agricola enough that it works out well.
And I'm not even talking about it because it's not like you can just pick any furnishing. Like all those extra furnishings were one spot on the board where I could pick furnish a room, and then I just had all these other options to furnish. I'm talking about just the board itself. You know, there was, clear stone, clear forest, get animals, reproduce, go on adventure. Like, I mean, there was all kinds of options.
Yeah. I think that, so for Agricola, it always felt like you wanted to do everything, but there was always like times when you needed to do it. Whereas this one, it felt like more, it's like, well, I can take care of, ores and stuff. Like, I can do that a bit later. I can focus on these other things. Whereas when I was playing Agricola, it's like, I need to get this done now. I wasn't able to do it. Now I have to be able to do that. And so I'm stuck behind people.
Because there was only
I still felt like that in Caverna a few times.
Well, that's just your bad luck.
There was only one option for a lot of stuff in Agricola, where there's 2 or 3 and maybe 5 or 6, including the expeditions.
And then the rubies. So these have rubies that you can mine up that give you, they're basically wilds for almost any resource. Yeah, pretty much. Yes. And it's
the only way to get single 1x1 tiles as well, because everything else is 2x1.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we all played Caverna. I definitely liked it. I definitely would like to play it more.
Just from one play for me, I like it better than Agricola. So we'll see.
All right.
Adrian just has to win a couple games, and then he'll
Yeah.
turn over.
Switch my tune. We'll
Yes.
see.
Broken. I have the also. There are so many pieces in that game. I immediately
many.
bought the broken token trays for that game, and that makes it so much nicer. Everything has a little nice spot. It's got nice trays. There's a million tiles, a million pieces.
Right.
That
It was
game-
nice for playing. Having
was.
everything organized.
That game had a billion
Yeah.
plastic bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, their inserts are great for just organizing, and then especially cleanup, and actually putting the game out. You're just like, oh, it's here, done.
Yep.
I had played it with the plastic bag mess in the box the previous times. This is the first time I'd played it since I had the broken token thing, which I bought at Gen Con
last year.
And that's
Right.
the first time I've played Caverna since.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of hard to bring out because it's got a million pieces, and I don't want to lose them.
Right. No, that makes sense.
And it takes up a decent amount of space. I mean,
Yeah.
the 4 players, it took up our entire kitchen table. And we've played other big games like Eclipse and even
Yes.
Twilight Imperium on this
Game of
table.
Thrones,
Game
I
of
think.
Thrones.
Yeah.
So it takes up a lot of space.
Yes, it does.
But
Yeah. And so that was what I played. What was it? Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, and then at game night, real quick, I played Roll for the Galaxy, which Adrian has talked about before and loved. This is the first time I had really played it. Man, that game is good. I love Race for the Galaxy. I played with everyone had never played Race. I was the only one that had played Race before and learned Roll for the first time, and we played 2 times.
Yes.
And it really clicked, just like Race. It clicks, and then it's like, this game is awesome.
It
Yep.
is, yeah.
I do really like Roll for the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Zach, what have you been playing?
So the game I want to talk about was called Thieves Market.
Yes. That's one of your new games, right?
Yes, I got it from Kickstarter. I kickstarted it, I want to say it was early in the year, like January or February. This is from Tasty Minstrel Games. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Okay. So this
I am not.
You're not? Okay.
Surprise.
They do a lot of their games on Kickstarter. They did Scoville, the pepper planting game.
Megan was looking at that real hard at Gen Con.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I did see that there.
And they have a lot of other games too. I think they're the ones publishing Orleans, which is like a bag building game and stuff like that. Anyway, that's not what the game we're talking about.
No.
The game we're talking about is Thieves Market. And so this is a 3 to 5 player game.
Uh-huh.
And so it's basically, it's 30 to 60 minutes long. It actually has a lot in common with something like Splendor in the sense you have a bunch of cards out that you use gems to buy.
Okay.
But because you're all thieves, so at the beginning of each turn, you have these, depending on how many people are playing, with 5 people, 13 dice. Whoever is first player rolls all of them. And then you're trying to divvy up the loot. And so the first player and the start player token actually gets added to those dice pool. You get to choose any amount of those dice.
You could take all 14 pieces if you wanted to.
Yes. I would not advise that. But you can
'Cause
take
you are
any.
left with none.
Exactly. Because then, so say I take 5, and then on your turn, Adrian, you could take from the pile, or you could steal mine.
Right.
So if I took some really nice gems, you could be like, I wanted those. So you take mine, you take the entire pile, and you just have to put 1 die back. And so it just keeps going around, So you want to have like a good enough pile to get done what you want, but you don't want it to be too good
That someone else steals
else steals it, because then if you want it back, you lose basically 2 dice from them taking it and you taking it back.
Yeah.
And so when you get those gems, you basically you can buy those cards, and then you can also get coins, which like in Splendor are wilds that you can stand in for those other coins, and so.
Just get you that 1 inch you needed to get that one card.
Pretty much, yes. And so all the cards can change things. So they can turn dice around. They can turn dice into other dice. And basically, you just go through all 3 sets of cards. And then at the end, whoever has the most notoriety, which are victory points, wins. And some dice allow you to just get straight victory points. And
Some make other things cheaper
yes,
when you buy them later.
Exactly, yes.
So was it fun?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds fun.
It was really enjoyable. It definitely has a take that, because if I can tell that you're doing well, I'd be like, I want to make sure you can't get a good dice. But so one thing that's interesting is that you always have to give up 1 die when you steal from someone. So say there is like 1 blue die that you needed. if you just took that one blue die, no one can take it from you. It's yours, but that's all you get.
Right.
Out of the 13 dice.
Yes, so it has a bit of push your luck too. Like I want to get as much as I can, but not too much before someone steals it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I saw you playing it.
Yeah,
I kind of looked over your shoulder a little bit. It looked interesting.
It
seemed
is.
like people were enjoying it.
You played it, right?
There's a lot of iconography.
Iconography. Yes.
Iconography.
Yes.
That's pronunciation.
That's the word.
Yeah. You put emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yes. Its little quick sheet is
Yes.
just all symbols.
Yes.
And it's like if this, then this, then this.
Yes. But yeah, once you get it, it's really easy to figure out.
I would let people go through the entire deck first.
Right,
Before
yeah.
when they play. Like, hey, do you want to look through this? Because you're not going to really understand what's the good cards and what's the bad cards.
Yeah.
Like most games, it's better after the first play.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it has a lot of strategic decisions and stuff like that. And I will say, it can definitely lead to some AP.
Okay.
Because like I said, you want to take enough dice to get done what you want, but not too much that people will steal.
It's like, do I take these 4 and then maybe only end with 3?
Exactly.
Or do I take that one? Or
Do I
this
take
one?
these 5?
Or do I just take all the gold and then no one will fuck with me because no one wants the gold and they want all the gems?
Yeah.
Or do I want the first player token and 2 gold?
Yes.
Or do I want victory points?
Because that's true. Yeah. Because
Or-
the starting player it's determines who buys first.
Yeah.
And who technically rolls next.
Right.
But it's really like if there's one on there that you really need, and if you have the gold to support it, you could literally just be like, I'm only taking the starting player just so I can buy it. And so yeah, it's there are a lot of strategic decisions that you would think might not be in a lightish game. Because
How long did it play?
45 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's
it didn't even seem like that.
no, I know it. Yeah, it's a fun game. I enjoy it. I'm gonna try and bring it to more game nights, and we should definitely try it out.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Quick to play, quick to learn.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, in addition to the aforementioned Caverna, at game night, I played a few games that we've talked about on here before, Celestia and stuff. I played Lanterns, which we haven't talked about, which is a game that I really would like to own. I was a little bit jealous. Ant's copy that we played, he won in the raffle.
Yes.
And that was one of those games that, like, I was buying all these games for the 1-year raffle, and I was like, man, nobody would know if this one just stayed in my bag. But I'm ethical, and so I put it up for the raffle, hoping that
your own
somebody
fault.
would get it who would play it. And sure enough,
Either
Ant
that
did
or
get
you
it, and we
actually
get to
did
play
do
it.
that, and you did that with a different game.
With a different game. Adrian always seems to get a lot of games right around the time we give him a bunch of money to buy games.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's a real simple little tile laying game. You're basically doing a Chinese lantern show, matching up colors to build sets in your hand to exchange for victory points. Plays pretty quick when people kind of know what's going on. I think it's another one that can have a little bit of AP because you have 3 tiles in your hand and try to decide, like, ooh, which one's going to be the best one.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? And, like, every tile you play is going to give at least 1 card to everybody at the table. So you got to kind of keep an eye on what your opponents are doing and going for, so you can maybe not help them too much.
Yeah, because there are a finite amount of cards for each color. So if all the whites are out and it points towards you, Jeff,
and
it's a white, you would not get a white.
The one hook is you play your cards and direction matters.
It does.
Yes.
Because it plays it like as a diamond.
Yes.
You're always at like points, right?
Uh-huh.
Because it's basically
you're
whatever.
you're on the flat
You're
sides.
on the flats
Yeah.
because
Yes,
whatever
you're on the
color
flat
is on the
side.
flat facing you is the color that you draw.
Yes.
But if you match colors, you get bonus colors.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so the player playing the tile can score, in theory, up to 5 colors if they had just a perfect setup. I can't imagine
People
that ever
playing
actually
that would be
happen.
stupid to let that
Yes.
get set up. Oh man.
But
I've never seen it even get close to that.
yeah, I've never even seen someone get 4.
yeah. So, but it's a fun little game. Plays pretty quick. I enjoy it. We were definitely rushing there towards the end, so I could get
I
out of
believe
it.
there is an expansion for that out too.
Yes, and there's some promo tiles and stuff too.
Yes.
But I liked it. The main game, though, that I really wanted to play, because I wanted to play something a little bit crunchier and heavier. What, Jeff?
Continue.
Yeah. Because tell them what game.
Oh, so in addition to playing Caverna, which was the first heavy game I played over the weekend on Friday, I then turned around on Saturday. And Saturday I got to play Scythe.
We both got to play.
We did.
Everybody but Jeff got to play.
Yeah. So,
That game I've owned since it shipped on Kickstarter.
yes.
That I maxed out backer.
Yeah.
So one thing in my copy is there's 2 different sizes of boards.
Yes. We played with the big one.
So the
Okay.
boards are exactly the same.
But you have more space on the
Yes.
bigger one.
Yes.
Like the giant Ticket to Ride anniversary
Exactly,
edition board.
yes.
It's just a bigger version of the same board.
Yes.
Okay.
And we played on the big version.
Yeah.
So, which was nice because
Have
then
you-
It's a
our-
9 by
everything's-
9.
everything's blown up and looks real nice and
It
big.
does.
And
Have you only played on the big board?
Yeah, I've
Zach?
only played on the
Okay.
big board.
cool. But so I played Scythe, and
And I just really
liked
want
it.
to play Scythe.
and I want to play it more, and I'll play it with you, Jeff. You
Yeah.
know, because that
It's-
way I'll be playing with somebody who hasn't played before. Maybe I can sneak out a win.
It's whatever.
Just do a 2-player game of it.
Sure,
Destroy.
and still lose.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of the games that has been on Kickstarter, made $1 billion.
Yes.
Literally, not really.
Not.
And I is one of the few that has really lived up to the hype. I think its board game geek rating is in top 20,
yes.
top 15.
Something like that, yeah.
It just
Overall?
got unseated on the new hotness.
Yeah.
It's been the new hot, like the top of their hotness list for a long time. It just
For a
recently
while,
got
yes.
unseated.
It's been pretty readily available for sale though.
Yes.
Like it's not been like crazy scalpers trying to buy it from. Like when they printed enough, which is
yeah.
nice for a change.
but
It's a Scythe. It's a good game.
yeah, we'll try and get
Could
it
be a
table
good
for you,
game.
Jeff. I think it's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been playing recently. Moving on, we've got some board game news.
We do.
And there's some interesting Kickstarters going on
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, Jeff, do you want to start off with the big news?
So the big news,
Big
and
fat news.
close and dear to my heart,
Yes.
is Games Workshop and Fantasy Flight Games are splitting their partnership.
Yes.
Yep.
And that means that Fantasy Flight Games is going to be officially losing the license at the end of the fiscal year, which I believe is the end of February
Yes.
of next year,
Yeah.
2017. That means that no more Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer 40K games will be printed, published, sold after that date, which means basically everything that you want is out there right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
by
Wow.
right now, I meant 4 days ago when they sold out.
Yeah.
I had seen a rumor posted on Reddit
Yes.
that was from the Lost Bell of
Lost Souls.
Bell of Lost Souls. Got it. Which is a rumor site that I always used to go to back in like the mid-aughts.
They're all
to,
about tabletop, like mini tabletop stuff.
They had
okay.
they had the best fucking rumors for 40K stuff. Like they would know like 6 months ahead of time who the new army books were going to be coming out of. But someone had seen that a Games Workshop booth was at a licensing trade show and expo in Vegas in June, and they were shopping for licensors for their tabletop IP, which meant like, oh shit, Fantasy Flight's going to be losing it because they're looking for new partners. Because I think they're really starting to butt heads into each other's markets.
Yeah,
and,
I can see that.
for
and
sure.
I bet Games Workshop's like, we need to stop giving them money because we want money. So the rumor came out,
Yes, it did.
and I was like, fuck, I got to buy Forbidden Stars right now.
Yeah.
And did. I immediately went on to Miniature Market and bought Forbidden Stars, which I got today.
Nice.
I opened it up, looked at it. It's super cool.
You should have brought it.
Yeah, I thought about bringing it. It was big. But after that, I think 2 to 3 days later, it became official
Yeah.
with Fantasy Flight's headline of a new path forward, which
Yes.
is sort of a real
Yes.
spin on like, we're losing all this
And
stuff that we
even
put so much effort into.
Even the subtitle is got just spin all over it. Fantasy Flight Games and Games Workshop conclude their business partnership.
Yep. It's just a handshake and good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good game, guys. Good
Yeah.
game.
So there are some big losers in
There are.
this category.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yep.
means that you're not going to be able to purchase Warhammer 40,000 Conquest,
Yes.
one of the bigger LCGs that Fantasy Flight runs, besides Netrunner.
Yes.
Has anybody checked in with David to make sure he's dealing with this okay?
Is he doing okay?
I don't know.
My best friend CJ had just bought the 2 core packs and 2 of the first expansions like 3 weeks ago for him and his friend to play. And he's like, well, that was a waste of money.
I was actually looking into trying to sell my my copy, and I don't know if that's going to happen.
And there's
now.
a lot that are out of print of that you're just never going to be able to buy ever
Yeah.
again. So Conquest is gone. They made an announcement about their tournaments. This fall tournament will be the last because they can't officially run a Warhammer 40,000 tournament without the IP.
Is it the Worlds?
Yeah, Fantasy Flight Games World Championships. After the 2016 Worlds, there will be no organized play support for Warhammer 40,000 Conquest.
Okay.
And it was huge at Gen Con this year.
Yes.
David flew out a day early just to play in it and get stumped. So Forbidden Stars, which is their big box game, really, probably their follow-up to StarCraft, I would say.
Yes, it was a re-implementation of a lot of those mechanisms, yes.
Fury of Dracula, which is a weird old Games Workshop game.
Yeah, this was they just released the second or third edition.
I think it's the third.
Third?
Yes.
Okay, and it's... I've seen some reviews of it. It looks pretty as all hell.
I think I looked it up. Thematic ranking in Board Game Geek, it's number 35.
Yeah.
Which is pretty high up there for a game that you can no longer buy pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
As soon as this news hit, that game was gone.
Yes. Now it is back on cool stuff.
Yes.
As of this podcast.
Yeah. They have
no promises.
They have limited it to one per customer.
That is good.
And which is a smart move because it probably sold out immediately because it was like, how many do you have? I want all of them because it's just going to get scalped.
Yeah.
Relic, which is the 40K version of Talisman, Talisman itself, all the expansions, the Blood Bowl Team Manager card game, all the
Chaos
expansions.
in the Old World.
Yep, Chaos in the Old World's
Blood for
another
the
big
Blood
one.
God.
All those games you're just not going to be able to buy anymore.
Space Hulk, Death Angel.
Yep.
Tons of stuff. So
tons of RPG stuff, paper pencil stuff that they have, like 4 or 5 different systems that they have in that system.
Right.
Yeah.
it'll
Sure.
No, I mean a ton of stuff.
I'm sure, yes.
And that sucks when
It
you lose
does.
a license like that. I mean, all that effort's gone, and if you want to play it, you better pay someone 7 times the price because that's the only way you're going to be able to get it anymore.
quick. Start looking around for hole in the wall game stores that somehow didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BFE.
I got a hookup through a friend.
A friend of a friend of
A friend of a friend of a friend. His father is the proprietor of Canada's largest board gaming store.
What is the name of it?
Sentry Box.
Okay.
The Sentry Box. And I was like, hey, everywhere is sold out already. Cool stuff was out. Miniature Market was out.
Yeah.
I had called around to a couple local places, but I was going to be boned. And she called in for me to the store and was like, hey, put these on hold for me. I'm going to go pick those up. And so she's going to bring those. I got the 2 expansions for Relic and the 2 expansions for Blood Bowl Team Manager.
Do you have Talisman at all?
I don't have Talisman, but I know people that have Talisman.
Okay.
I was like, eh.
So you're covered. And you, as you said, Relic is just a 40K version of Talisman.
Yeah, Relic
right?
is a 40K version of Talisman.
So.
Also, to plug them quickly, they have a YouTube channel where they play board games. It's called the Sentry Box. They're about as brand new as we are.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Cool.
They just have a couple videos. And also the worst clue I've ever seen on code names of all time.
Ooh.
It was like Animals 3 and like, I was like, Eagle's an animal, boom, assassin.
Ouch.
That was the first clue of the first guess of the first game.
Ouch.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
That sets a tone.
Yep.
Right on. I'll have to check them out, and
Yeah.
you should too, dear listener.
Yeah, they only had like 56 subscribers, so that's probably slightly more than what we have.
Yeah.
Probably.
But they're Canadian based, so yeah.
Yeah. The
So they don't
exchange
count.
rate is different.
Yeah.
it's- yeah.
Yeah.
How many Canadian listeners equal an American listener?
Yeah. Yeah, 75% of one listener.
Oh, wow.
But this is probably the biggest bummer news to come out of the board game
Industry in a while.
Yeah.
Since Asmodee started buying everybody up, and
Well, that wasn't necessarily bad news.
depends on how you look at it.
Yes, it does.
It's always sad when something goes out of print for a
Yes,
long time.
exactly.
And it's super sad when it's just like, well, fuck everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, especially because it's not even like it's some mediocre game. Like there's some good games in that list.
Yeah,
and,
it does.
I know like someone like myself, Fury of Dracula has been on my list. I've been wanting to pick it up for a while, and because I've been listening to old episodes of like Shut Up and Sit Down and Secret Cabal and some of those. And almost every podcast it seems like I listened to, somewhere in their first 15 or 20 episodes 2 years ago, were raving about Fury of Dracula. And so I've been like, I really need to get this game.
Yes.
And then this came out, and I was like, Jeff, you're buying a bunch of games from them, right? Buy Fury of Dracula.
So I was able to find the last vestige of Fury of Dracula online.
There you go.
Before Cool Stuff restocked
Right.
from Think Geek.
That's right.
They're based here, or they have a Denver branch.
They
at
do.
least.
Yeah. And I was like, yes.
But
There you go. That's good. Good that you got that, so that we can reap the benefits of you
Yes.
spending money.
I
Precisely.
bought 6 board games in panic mode.
There you go.
'Cause it's like, I will never get these ever again. I at least had the base games for Relic and
Yes.
Blood Bowl, but
that helps.
No.
Forbidden Stars have been on my list for a long time because it's a epic scale,
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
which I love.
So, in other news, moving right along
Uh-huh.
as this train rapidly derails, they announced an expansion for Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah. Robinson
Or
Crusoe.
Or not
it's
an expansion, sorry, a
remastered-
re-release.
Yeah, re-release of Robinson Crusoe.
Lots
The-
of editing.
The 2016 edition.
You said
400
400 edits between the cards and the rulebooks.
Yes.
If you remember the first time we played, Adrian, that
yeah.
rulebook is a pile of shit.
Yeah, I love the game. The rulebook is garbage.
It is.
Like unfortunately, a lot of rule books.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like a separate art from game design.
It really is. There are a lot of game designers who do not know how to make them, and when you see a well done, like, so Vlada Chvátil, his
A lot
so-
of Shvaddle, code names, the spaceship one.
Galaxy Trucker,
Galaxy Trucker.
Mage Knight, Dungeon Pets, Dungeon Lords, like he makes those.
Yeah.
He has amazing rulebooks. Like, not only are they engaging, they're actually also funny. They sort of tell a story-ish.
Night and
and
night.
teach you the game.
Yeah, they teach you the game. Those are great ones. Whereas some like Robinson Crusoe, if you don't know what you're looking for, then you have no idea.
It's going to be tough.
Yes.
Fantasy Flight rule books.
Yes.
They-
So the box is smaller.
The box is smaller. They also switched out, instead of the little wooden and plastic cubes, they switched out little like actual resource
Yeah, 'cause
tokens.
they're
That is
colored
good because
Plastic.
I
A little
just-
confusing on what they were.
They were. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. It's like, we have these blue ones. I don't know.
These
We have
green ones?
Green. Yeah.
Yellow and orange are food that's perishable and not perishable.
Yes.
Well, I hope
Yeah,
you're gonna
so-
like Seafall.
Is it a lot of cubes?
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, I'm getting really cool metal coins, so
Yes.
hopefully that makes up for it.
You can always use Caverna tokens.
Exactly.
Yeah, might have to. Kickstarters. There are a few that have just launched that have already succeeded.
So I did want to mention one last thing
Oh, yeah?
about Robinson Crusoe. I believe that they were adding. So one of the promo scenarios was King Kong.
Yes.
And I believe that was going to be in that edition.
Defaulted in the
yes.
box.
Oh, cool.
I just ordered that off of Board Game Geek's promo store.
If they had it at Gen Con, I would have bought it.
I think they immediately sold out.
I am not surprised.
Yeah.
It seems really cool.
So,
Continue.
okay, so moving on to some Kickstarter games really quickly. This one actually looks pretty interesting, and it has already made just way more than its goal. It's Endangered Orphans of Condyle Cove. It has almost 3,000 backers. It's got 105,000 pledged of its 4,000 goal, and it still has 23 days to go. So you got plenty of time to check this Kickstarter out. It's basically a card-based 2 to 4 player game where you each have a little orphan, and your hand of cards represents that orphan's options in life. And you're playing cards, and some of the cards build out like a little player board, like a little city that the orphans are moving through, and they can go from different places to do different things, but you're constantly playing cards out of your hand, which represent the dwindling options for your orphan, until eventually all the orphans but one die. They're taken by the boogeyman when they run out of options.
Well, they're orphans. No
And-
one misses them.
And so they definitely, the entire Kickstarter is just laced with this like self-depreciating humor that is great. So they've got the tagline for their Kickstarter is a deplorable tabletop game devoid of joy, hope, or humor, which regrettably is also far more awesome than it has any right to be.
Okay.
And then the starting of their video is Luke Skywalker, Batman, James Bond, Spider-Man, Tarzan, Superman, Harry Potter. In all great stories, the orphan always overcome.
James
Meanwhile, in this story, ...
James Bond was an orphan?
He was, yes.
Huh.
Typically.
Okay. I guess
So it looks interesting. I want to
not
watch some gameplay videos and kind of see if I think
I don't
if
know.
it looks interesting to play. But it sounds interesting, and it's already made a bunch of money.
I don't know. I'm not that big a fan of the art, but
I kind of dig it.
I think I'll have to look more into it. And just looking on it on a phone is not really doing it justice.
Unfair, that we've previously
Yes.
talked about, is down to 3 days to go.
So 1 day to go when you hear this.
When this releases, yes. So you'll have 24 hours to listen to the episode and then go check it out.
They have added a couple more decks, themed decks. I think a gangster one, and then they added a bunch of teasers of their like a hacker themed one.
Ninjas and Gangsters are the two new ones.
Okay, yes, but then and because you play with 5 players, you can swap them out and stuff like that. And, their last little goal is going to be for the time track thing. It's going to be a little coaster thing that actually
it looks
pretty
cool. It looks like a neat little mini. So
yes.
So yeah, they've definitely funded. It's going to happen. So go take a look at those. And then, Jeff, you've got some big Kickstarter news that you're very excited about.
So Zach informed me that this Kickstarter launched. I woke up in the morning and then saw my phone and I was like, just make money go into it now. Tiny Epic Galaxies Beyond the Black.
Yes.
Which is their new expansion.
So when did you pick up the first game, Tiny Epic Galaxies?
I bought that at Gen Con.
Okay. I was going to Kickstart it, and then I didn't have the $30 or whatever for that week after, and I was like, well, shit. And so I actually backed Tiny Epic Western, and then in their pledge manager, it's like, do you want to add the deluxe version of Tiny Epic Galaxies? Yes. Click.
Sure.
Yeah. So I bought it, and I've had it for like 3 or 4 months now, and I've played it a couple times, and I love that game. That was a great game.
Yes, absolutely. I played your version, then I was an original backer for Tiny Epic Kingdoms, which sort of started all of these madness amounts of tiny games.
Yes, they're not even tiny anymore.
No.
I like that Tom Vassell is basically. So they need to just take the tiny out of their name because they're not tiny. Like the
they're
box,
compact.
Like it's a compact epic game. Yes, because actually on the board, especially like Western and what this expansion adds, it's not. It's going to take up a decent amount of space.
I enjoy all of their games. You get the 4X in a tiny package, which is nice. This one is going to be adding pilots, which is just more things to buy, like planets, I guess.
Yes, and so they will make ships more customizable, and they actually include 4 unique ship icons for each
color.
Yeah, for each color. And
so I have 4 more different ships.
Exactly.
4 unique.
And some of them are better at flying, and some of them are better at colonizing and stuff like that. It just adds some more, more variability in the game.
A little bit of exploration. I haven't read into really the exploration mechanic yet.
The unexplored space?
Yes.
Yes. So now, instead of colonizing a planet, you can choose to go into... you can choose to go to unexplored space, and there's different things you can find and stuff like that.
That's
and
cool.
It's
not just planets. You're getting to get some Star Trek in
yes.
Yeah. It pledged, their goal was 15,000. They made it in like minutes. They are currently at 245,000.
there. Last I calculated, 1,639% funded.
Sounds about
With
right.
how many days left to go?
18 to
You
go.
got
18?
We still have 18 days. So I'm sure you'll hear more about this from us.
Did you like that game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I haven't played anything other than Tiny Epic Galaxies. I haven't played any other Tiny Epic stuff, but I did like
I did play
Galaxies.
the first one, Tiny Epic Kingdoms.
I think you played that with me.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was good enough. I think the expansion definitely added a lot more.
I dumped some money into their booth at Gen Con.
You did. Yeah, I was there.
It was like
You did.
$60.
I believe
They
it
had
was,
the second edition thing.
I believe
for
it was
half off.
actually 70 because you bought like a mat, but then you also bought the conversion kit or something like that.
Yeah, they had the conversion kit half off for the second edition, so I was like, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
I was full on Kickstarter for that first Tiny Epic Kingdoms too.
yeah.
So I got way too much shit
Yeah.
Like most Kickstarters.
As always happens.
Yes, it does.
I have way more shit than I need for Zombicide. But okay, so that wraps up our news and Kickstarter roundup. We're ready to move on to the discussion of the day. But first, Jeff, you have some very exciting news for our listeners.
We got an email from someone we don't know.
That we did.
Yeah,
Fan-
actual real listener.
From someone we don't know.
Literal fan mail.
Yes.
Sweet.
Fan email. It's from Mike. It's from Mike in Colorado Springs.
Nice and close.
Yes, an hour and a half. Close.
Yep.
He writes, "Hey fellas, just wanted to let you know that you have a listener from Colorado Springs. I found your podcast a few weeks ago and have listened my way through the archives and just wanted to say thanks for putting this out there. I'm happy to have another perspective on board games from some folks that live close by. A good friend of mine and I have been running a board game meetup down here for about 2.5 years now. With our schedules, we only get together twice a month with that group right now. I just wanted to hear more about your meetups on the podcast at some point." He's got a list of questions there and then says, "Keep up the good work. Mike, Colorado Springs."
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, thank you, Mike, for that email.
Thank you for not hating us.
yes, for actually being kind to us. Holy shit. I definitely thought hate mail would be our first
One of us
email.
isn't dying, are we?
But you are in luck. Your email was incredibly timely for us because we had already pretty much decided before we got that this week's episode would cover game nights, organizing them, running them, how to do all that. Because it kind of seems like almost weekly on the board game subreddit, we see something about
the worst game night ever.
Yeah.
I tried to start a meetup and nobody came.
Yeah, or I've been having a little meetup with like 6 of my friends, and now there's like 20 of us, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
like there's regular questions about organizing game nights, and since we have been organizing a game night every week, literally,
we quote unquote,
I'll own it. I have been organizing a weekly meetup for literally every week since January of 2013.
And literally, not figuratively.
We have not missed a single Wednesday since I started running it. So
That's impressive.
Yeah. Holidays, doesn't matter. Christmas, New Year's,
2
night
feet of
before
snow.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I always want to. Yeah. It's been good.
Yeah, and it's grown by leaps and bounds. Our Facebook group just crossed 900 members.
Which is ridiculous.
That is thoroughly ridiculous. It's awesome, but ridiculous. So we feel like, I feel like like I have at least some form of insight on running a successful game night, and I decided to share that with all of you guys. And since Jeff and Zach, we met through this meetup, and this podcast exists because of that meetup, they're obviously a part of this. Don't leave them out. Can't leave.
Thank you for your generosity,
Can't leave
Adrian.
them.
Yes.
Can't leave out
Feeling
my
the
friends.
love.
But so it was great. It was great getting that email from Mike, saying that he wanted to hear more about our game night meetup and game nights in general. So without further ado, I think we can go ahead and get started.
Do you want to give us a brief rundown of what our game night actually is?
So if you've been
Brief.
listening, if you've listened to the podcast like Mike has, if you've worked your way through the archives back at the beginning when things were much rougher than they are now, then you've probably already heard a little bit about our game night, but I'll break it down for you real quick again. Like I said, we started back in January of 2013. Mm-hmm. I had moved to Denver, and within a week I saw a post about a board game meetup, and I was brand new to the hobby, had just gotten Catan. I went. I had a really good time. I enjoyed it a whole lot. The guy who organized it, Andrew, had originally planned on it maybe being a monthly thing if it worked out. Well, the next week came and went, and I was already jonesing to play some more board games.
You weren't the only one.
I was hooked. And so I got a hold of Andrew about seeing if we could do one sooner. And he was like, yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, like I don't have the time to do it weekly, but if you wanted to do it, then go for it. And so I did. I organized, through the Denver subreddit.
Yep.
Organized getting everybody back together. People were really excited about it. And so I found a venue, and we went out for our second game night.
Which was Catan themed.
Yep. Early on, we toyed with the idea of having each night be themed around a specific game.
Lasted the first night.
It lasted exactly 1 week.
1 week.
We abandoned that because there's too many board games to do that. We wanted to play more than 52 games a year. So it went from there. I go early in the time frame. I'd go from brewery to brewery and stop in, have a beer or two, check out their space. And if I felt like they had room for what our group was at any given time, whether it was back at the start when it was a dozen people or now when it's like 40 people, you know, I have a beer, check out the space. And if I like it, you know, I'll ask to talk to an owner or manager, which here in Colorado, half the time that's the person behind the bar.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, you know, talk to them, kind of explain a little bit about who we are and what we do. You know, we go every Wednesday at 6 p.m. until close, which is typically
between 10 and
10
1.
and midnight. Yeah, easily a little bit later.
10
sometimes.
And when they kick us out.
Yes.
And for a lot of breweries, that's way past their normal hours. Like, that's a regular question in our post. Is like, I'm looking online and it says they close at 8. I won't be able to come till 7:30. Like,
Yeah.
what's up? And we're like, oh, no. They know us and we'll be there till midnight.
Yes.
So, but basically we eat a lot of food and drink a lot of beer. So places are willing to stay open because they have paying customers.
Strange.
On a Wednesday night.
Yes.
Strange is like, you guys just hang out till whenever.
Yeah. Whenever you're done.
Only once or twice has it really been.
Yeah.
We need you guys to finish up.
It's like one.
It's been more often because it's one of those situations like, okay, as by Colorado law, we need to do last call.
Yeah.
Like we
We
must
get our
stop
liquor
serving
license.
you. So we play a lot of games, and it's grown by leaps and bounds. We go to over a dozen different breweries on a roughly rotating basis.
Some places want you more than you want them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. And then I've got emails sitting in my inbox that are currently unanswered because I've been busy from 3 different places that are trying to set up for the first time.
Yeah.
Because now I don't even have to do the legwork of going to breweries. Breweries come to me.
La-dee-da.
Getting a big head. But no, so it's a bunch of fun. We've been doing it for 3.5 years, and it's...
And I've been there for a year and a half.
Yes.
Zach and I are OG members.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I think we're the only ones from that very... Well, and Andrew.
Andrew, yeah. But we're like the only ones that I have missed have been because I've been out of state. I've come to them when I was sick because I love coughing on people and just, spreading diseases.
I think that's about the same since I started.
Yeah.
It's like I'm out or something crazy's melting down at work. And it's like, sorry, guys. Because there was one time I even showed up and I was like in my work clothes.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
There are a few people who come in their work clothes. They're like, I didn't even want to go home to change.
Yeah.
I've
Came straight here.
jonesing too much for my fix.
Yeah, you guys still, it's 11? You're still there? Okay, I'll stop by.
But no, it's a great group, and we've had a whole lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So that about sums up our rough history of our game night. I don't think there's really anything else to add to that.
Nothing
at
at
all.
moment, at least, yeah.
No. So essentially, if you're somebody thinking about starting a game night, then really I'd say the first thing you need to figure out is what you're hoping to get out of a game night.
Yes, exactly.
Like if you want to have a huge, massive group of board gamers and, fill up bars and do crazy things, then that's going to be an entirely different path than if you're just looking to have like 2 or 3 friends that you can play board games with, every few days.
Yeah. Well, I know for us, we like socializing, not even board gaming specific, but socializing is a big part of it.
Yeah. There's people who come who don't even play games.
Exactly.
They come just to socialize.
Yes. So that's where like breweries work. Whereas it's like if it's at somebody's house, no one's going to go there if they don't want to play games.
Yeah.
So
it's much more awkward to just randomly stand around drinking a beer in somebody's house while a bunch of people play games than it is to do that at a bar.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure someone has done that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't mean it's not less awkward.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the first thing. If you want to start a game night, you really need to figure out what you want from game night, like what you want your group to be about, what your goal is.
What type of games you want to play.
Yeah. And that one, we'll cover that here in a little bit. We'll discuss how our group's evolved and what games we've played. But that's an important thing, too, that you'll need to know. Like, do you want it to be like kind of a party thing where you're just playing some lighthearted games and hanging out with friends? Again, like Zach just said, socializing. Or do you want to get, Twilight Imperium and, Forbidden Stars,
Terra Mystica,
and Dominant
games,
Species?
yeah.
Do you want to get games like that to the
fucking
table?
hardcore.
Because that's going to be an entirely different process also.
Yes, it
Rent
will.
some sort of table to have enough space to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure people have done that.
Yeah.
So one of the early questions that once you've kind of figured that out, one of the early questions you'll need to kind of work on is where you want to host it. If it's a smaller group playing heavy games, just you and a few friends, then it's probably cool to do it at your house. If you have space for it, if you've got a kitchen and a table and, somewhere to play. Some people don't, might
Most
live in
apartments in Denver.
Yes, if you live in a small
very
apartment.
true, yes. And there's some game stores that'll let you do that too, and there's some
Board game cafes.
exactly yes that just want you to.
Depending on where you live.
That is true.
I
yeah.
mean,
I
not
know of at
everybody
least
is
one in
so
Columbus.
No, yeah,
so
I know.
lucky.
Recently we had now we have 3, I believe.
Yeah.
But they've opened up fairly recently.
Yeah,
There was a brand new one that opened in Columbus when I lived there, and that place was packed.
I'm not surprised.
At all times.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the new trends. Like Snakes and Lattes really got that board gaming cafe thing
Yes.
started. So if you don't have space to host your own, then you can look for something like that. Look for like a board game cafe or something designed around board games. I've heard, I haven't ever done this myself, but I've heard a lot of times your local library will have like little side conference rooms
I
that you
can
can
see
rent
that,
out.
yeah.
And you can go play games like in a side room at the local library.
Just be real quiet about it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's another good one. If it's a small group of people and you're not looking to like drink alcohol and get crazy, you just want to play a game.
Yeah.
Not everyone drinks and plays board games.
Not everyone drinks and plays board games. I don't understand it, but it's true.
It's their choice. It may be a wrong choice, but it's their choice.
That's not us though.
No.
That's
Nope.
so we don't have a lot of
We're
advice.
alcoholics.
If you
That's-
go that way, functioning, highly functioning alcoholics.
How do you play this game again? You played it last week. I don't remember that.
I did.
Yeah.
No, we went a different way, and for me, this is what these first 2 steps I entirely skipped. Like I showed up in town, went to a game night to play a game
Yeah.
that was at a bar, and then I took it over just like from what it already was. Like I skipped all these steps, which I mean, you could try to do. I don't know how well it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
I kind of got lucky.
You too can skip these steps.
Yes.
I got lucky with it.
And I
but-
will say, it seems like the first real bars I went to and breweries were in Denver, but they have games off to it seems like they're a lot more open to people playing games there than some people would think.
They're mostly mass market stuff.
Well,
but
I
I've
know,
seen
but
a lot of
still-
places
yeah.
that will have like Catan. And we're like, oh, they have Catan here. That's
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, and it's certainly been one of those things you're more and more likely to see that. I know definitely a few breweries around here have like Catan. I think one has Ticket to Ride in their little game
Yes.
stacked to the side. So they do, it goes hand in hand, hanging out at a brewery, drinking beers, and playing some games. It works for them, unlike a restaurant where they're wanting to turn tables as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Breweries want you to stick around and drink a lot of beer.
That
And
they do.
Sitting down playing a game is a good way to sit around and
is.
drink a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Indeed. You're not in there for like 1 and then off.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
in there for like 5.
Especially with friends and stuff and meeting new people, you'll tend to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, talking a lot. Works up a thirst.
It does.
One table had 20 beers.
Speaking of...
Nice slurp there.
Yep.
It
Fantastic.
failed. No, but so if you want to go the more social route, you want to have a bigger group, you want to start an actual like board gaming meetup, then the first step I would say would be to find a good location for it. Like we've been saying here, bars and breweries really lend themselves well to it if that's kind of their vibe that they're going for.
Yes.
So go in and talk to them. That's the first step. If you're not willing to go in and talk to people, you're going to struggle to run a successful game night. You
Yeah.
got to be willing
Yes,
to talk
very
to
much
people.
so.
And don't drag 20 people there without talking to them first.
Yeah.
Yes. Let the brewery or bar or whatever know beforehand. Talk to them because they'll be willing to do it more than likely. But you just want to be like, hey, we've got all these people because I know there are times when we've been double booked.
And it
That
sucks.
It sucks when you're like, we have 2 tables for 25 people. That's not going to
Yeah.
work.
Or where we're booked, 3 months out, sometimes they forget to staff
Yes.
enough people. So you have one bartender who's like pulling her hair out, trying to run around, picking up glasses and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
That's why we help
and
us.
serving beers. Yeah. So we try and help out when that happens. But definitely starting out, it's really important to talk to your venues, and foster that relationship, because if it's successful and you do it for 3 years, you're probably going to go back. And so you want
Yes.
to have a good relationship and get that off on the right foot. So now you've got things kind of planned out. You know what you're looking for a group. You know where you want to go.
Yep.
The next thing is figuring
Yeah.
out when.
Yes.
You've got where and what. Now you need when. And so that one can be a little bit trickier, depending on which one of those 2 you're going for. If you're going for the small personal one at home, then that's just a matter of coordinating schedules with your friends, and it doesn't need to be as consistent.
Right.
Like if it's just you and 5 buddies getting together, then
Whenever you guys are available.
whenever you guys are available. If you're trying to run a meetup, consistency is going to be key. If
It
you
is.
really want it to be successful and have some longevity, you need to find a good time that works and do it that time every time, So like for us, it happened to be Wednesday night because here in Denver, when we started, there was already a meetup on Thursday and Friday through the subreddit.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to compete with those. Saturdays are just way too busy anyway.
Saturdays and Sundays, really.
To go into a brewery, like they just don't have the space all the time. So
Everyone's
we needed
hiking anyways.
Yes.
Everyone's
Yeah, the
hiking.
weekends, people in Colorado love the outdoors.
Yeah.
What's the
What
outdoors?
losers.
I know, right? Fittest city in the nation.
is.
State in the nation.
Yes.
State. Although Denver probably is pretty close to one of the fittest cities.
Yeah.
I bet Boulder beats us.
Fun fact.
Anyway. Anyway, so, I Wednesdays actually, I think, worked really well.
It did.
It's kind of the middle of the week. People are looking for maybe a little bit of a pick-me-up, getting out. Like a Monday, you're tired from the weekend. You've been back at work doing emails. Like, that sucks. Thursdays and Fridays can work if you don't have any other events in your area that are an issue. But overall, Wednesdays have worked great for us.
Yeah, basically just find a good day and keep it on that same day.
Yeah. So
we did it on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve.
which is a little extreme. but
It is.
We have
but
some fanatics.
We do. We are because that's us.
yeah.
Yes.
We also do live in a city of transplants where a
Yes.
lot of people their families live far away, so they might not be going home for the holidays,
Exactly.
and they're still looking for something to do.
Yeah, Friendsgiving and those sort of things are big here.
Yeah,
They
we do a lot of
yes.
Friendsgivings.
I just have now realized that.
So, but kind of going hand in hand with that, especially if you're trying to find like a good time of the week to do it, you almost need to have an idea of who's going to be coming.
Yes.
How are you going to bring gamers in? We had a lot of success early on with our local subreddit. Mm-hmm. That's going to depend for you on the size of the town you're in.
Yeah.
If you're in a city that's big enough to have a local city subreddit, you'll do much better than if you live in Garden City, Kansas with like 1,000 people.
And so I will say, before our first meetup, there was, I believe it was Andrew who posted of, hey, do you guys want to meet up for game? Like, it actually, someone got the conversation started and
Right.
like hey, actually gauging interest. And there are a lot of us who are like, yeah, I could totally do that. And then through it, we're just like, oh, okay, I guess we'll set it up here. And then, we had 12 to 15 from that.
Yeah.
And then, then we were able to go from there.
Yeah. So, and if you're not a Redditor, you don't really do Reddit. Facebook can work.
Yes.
A lot of cities and towns have little local Facebook meet and greet groups and stuff. Meetup.com
Yes.
is also fantastic for
Yes,
this.
it is.
Because I know that was one of my first things when I moved to Denver. I jumped on Meetup.com. It was like, what meetups going on in this town interest me? I want to meet some people. I personally didn't do a meetup group for this one because the Reddit community was really good here in Denver and already had
Yeah.
meetups going, and meetup costs money.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, which I'm all about that free shit.
Absolutely.
So, but I know a lot of people do have a lot of success running board game groups through meetup.com. If you get a good group of people, they'd probably be willing to throw a couple bucks towards dues once a month to help you pay for that, offset that cost. But so you can use one of those forums to kind of find a group of gamers to meet with and then figure out kind of the same thing as doing it with your friends, figure out a time that will usually work for all of
Yes.
you. Whether that's a Wednesday night or a Thursday night or, whatever night of the week works for you and your venue. And at that point, you're good to go. So,
I mean, I will say this is that when you're letting people know, is that always let them know in a consistent way too, like you were saying. We want consistency. So we always post ours Wednesday morning,
right.
and
Terrible puns.
they are full of terrible puns. It catches your eye because you're reading this list and all of a sudden you want to vomit and you're like, what made me want to? Oh, okay, it was the board gaming one.
Nonsense. You're more like you're reading the list and you're like, holy shit, that title is awesome. Look at how cleverly he worked the
I
name
have
of the
never
brewery.
thought that once. Like, I just sigh and upvote it. That's
But no, so that was going to be the next thing I was talking about is now that you've got your venue, you've got your time, and you got your people, well, now you got to, make sure that when the day of comes around, letting people know, reminding them. For us, it works to do it Wednesday morning. Early on, I did it usually like earlier in the week, like, hey, just a reminder, guys, this Wednesday is actually a game night. Now it's been going for 3.5 years, and everybody just expects the Wednesday morning post.
Yeah.
But that's where, again, things like a Facebook group can come in handy where people join and you just make an event. As soon as you book with the restaurant, make that event. And then the day of, make a post like, hey, here's a reminder that this event is today. That's something else we do. Richard does our Facebook stuff for us, and whenever I update the schedule like 3 months out, he makes 3 months worth of events that just fill up your
That he
timeline
does.
for
Dumps.
a day.
You have been invited to 12 events.
All with the same background photo.
Yes.
So again, the internet is a wonderful tool for nerds of all types to find and interact with each other. Use it. Use it.
What's the internet?
Don't pretend like you don't know, Jeff. You know.
What's outside?
That's a more accurate question.
There you go.
So now you've got all that set up. You've got your day planned. You've got your venue. You've got your people. You've let them know. So now the day of comes. So here is where you really need to be on top of your game if you're trying to be the one running this. Especially
Hostly.
got to be hostly, especially your first few times. You need to be down to like meet people as they come in, especially that first time, because nobody's going to really know anybody. There's going to be a little bit of awkwardness. So you got to be kind of Johnny on the spot. If you're not super charismatic and outgoing yourself, maybe rope in one of your friends who is. Almost everybody has like that one friend who's like a social butterfly. Talk them into come and be like, hey, dude, I need you to come and like help me.
Is that me?
No.
Okay. The one tip I can give about like organization and stuff like that, give a name.
Yes. Yeah.
Like know who you're like. Don't
be like, well, and you always like to wear your hat. And so
Yeah,
it's like, I'm Adrian. I'm the guy with the hat, the weird little hat.
weird Irishy hat.
Irishy
The
hat.
Irishy hat or my Panama hat
Panama hat.
that I didn't even buy in Panama.
I know it was Ecuador. So
Guatemala.
It's a nice hat.
It was
is.
Guatemala. It is a nice hat. It is way too thick for summer. I need a lighter one. But
Yeah.
but no, like
That's how I discovered, like, I was at the bar because I was being awkward and like, there's all these people. I know they're part of the group, but I don't want to say hi. And then the bartender said your name because you came up to the bar and I was like, oh, you're the guy. And that sort of jumped me into it.
right.
and now you're here
And now
Now
I'm
you're here.
through a logical
locked in.
yes
Words.
Yep.
Yeah.
Progression of events. There we go.
But no, that was one of those things that I abandoned my Reddit username anonymity pretty quick once I started
Yes.
organize this. Like, I made myself the face of the group. Like I had no problem being like, hey, if you get there and you're new and like you're not really sure how to break in, ask anybody where Adrian is. They'll point me out and I'll help you. Like I'll reach out. Because I am that kind of social person. Like I have no problem talking to strangers and interacting and pulling people into games.
And I mean, when we've been doing it long enough that there are some of us that sort of take on that role too, especially with how big that we can get.
Yeah. Out of the regulars, we all know who the friendly regulars are.
Yes.
And who the not so friendly regulars are. No, and they're not. Everyone is very friendly. There are some who are much more the type you push a beginner onto, though.
Yes.
But
Here's a
no,
new
it's
game. You
a
better know how to play
it's
it.
a great group.
Yes.
I do really love our group, and I do love how welcoming and supporting they've become.
Right.
It's gotten to the point. If there's
Yes.
a new person, we pretty much spot them and yank them in nowadays.
So I did want to mention one thing that I just remembered.
Okay.
It's actually something previous, and it's actually because I got a message about it.
Okay.
If you're going to places like breweries and bars, make sure to know if it's a 21 and over sort of location or not. Most of the ones we go to aren't, right? Like
aren't 21 and up? No.
Yeah.
We don't go anywhere that's 21 and up.
That's
right
what
now.
I thought.
Because most families and stuff
Yeah,
go there.
yeah, exactly.
Family friendly.
But yeah, if they ever are, especially for these things, like you'll sometimes get people that are adults, but they're still 18 to 20.
Right.
And note if you're going to something like that, say sorry, but this is 21 and over.
Right.
So just make sure you note what your audience is. Your audience can go there.
Yes, and that kind of goes back to like with our group, ostensibly we're family friendly.
Yes.
We certainly don't prohibit anybody from coming based on any kind of family situation.
No, yes.
I don't care if you're 18 years old or you're 60 years old. If you want to play games, I'm down. That being said, our group is a group that goes out and drinks till 1 a.m. on a Wednesday night. We're a loud, rowdy group. I mean, if you've listened to the podcast, we swear.
Yes.
So we're not
Once or
necessarily
twice. Once or twice.
child friendly.
No, yeah.
Never.
we don't censor very well. So that's another one of those things when you're starting this off, to lay some ground rules and some boundaries. Like, what are you trying to set this up as? Do you want it to be a meet and greet for couples where they can, go stick their kid in the corner playing, I don't know, what do kids play? don't
don't
even know.
They play
Connect
duct
4.
tape that kid to the ceiling so it doesn't bother me for an hour and a half. It's a fun game.
You know, if that's what
My parents used to play that with me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's a good family game.
Yes.
duct tape my brothers to a post once. That was fun.
Not surprised.
But no, so that's kind of goes hand in hand with like figuring out your group from before, you know, decide who you want to attract. We're definitely, our group is predominantly late 20s, early 30s.
We're,
you know, I don't know,
young
young adults.
Yeah,
I don't know
young
what the hell we
adults,
are.
young professionals.
Young professionals. God damn.
We have some young professional friends.
I mean, we definitely have some people in the 40s and even 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have some people that are, you know, early 20s, even late teens and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, we've had a few people who've come who are underage. You know,
Yes.
like they'll ask on the Reddit page, like, "Hey, is this like all ages?" We're like, yeah. I mean, you can't drink if you're not 21,
Yeah.
but you can sure come.
They have water.
And we have people who are over 21 who don't drink. You know, like we have a
absolutely.
teetotaler.
Yes.
I love that word,
Yeah.
teetotaler.
We have people that just don't drink, but don't drink beer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Oh,
So.
all kinds.
Yeah, very opening and accepting of all vices and
Not all
virtues.
vices. I don't
I
think
mean most of them.
heroin addiction.
As long as it doesn't as long as it doesn't affect the game, I don't give a shit.
As long as they're not doing it in the bathroom,
yeah.
throwing
No.
dirty needles.
Basically,
in
I
the
just
trash.
don't want them to do
Exactly.
it during
Yeah.
game night. That's what I mean. No.
Don't do a line of coke on my brand new board game. You don't use.
But
my,
it has a metal surface. It's nice.
Don't use my cards to cut your line there. Don't do that.
Family friendly.
Family friendly. Yeah.
We're
Did you
never going
learn
to be
to
on the
share?
Dice Tower Network. We will never be on the Dice Tower
course they're not.
Network. So now, so the day of has come. We're going to get this train back on
Sorry, I
tracks.
distracted you.
Day of has come, and this is where you need to be, you know, like I started out saying there, you need to be ready to meet people at the door, get people involved. This is where it helps if you're wanting to start a game night group. Again, either having your own or knowing somebody who has a decent collection of games.
Yes.
This doesn't apply if you're going to a board game cafe because they've got their own huge collection.
Indeed.
But otherwise, you know, try and bring some games that are light enough for people to jump right in, especially if somebody comes who's not familiar with games.
Yes.
You want to have a couple of those on hand. Maybe you don't play them, maybe you do. But especially, I like at the start of our board game nights to have games that are easy to like drop in and drop out of. Like Codenames is a great one. Like,
Yeah.
because somebody can play a one round and like guess a clue, and they're like, "Oh, I want to go play something else." And like, "All right, you're out. Hey, you standing there? Are you here for game night? You are. Sweet, come play." You know, so there's a lot of games like that are easy to drop in, drop out, and I mean, Codenames can play up to down to probably 20 people. It'd be a pain, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
that's
I'd play
stretching
with
it.
that.
That's
but
stretching
yes.
it a bit.
Yeah.
But you can fit a lot of people into some of those games. And as people come in, you can knock 4 people off. You're like, all right, you guys go play something. New people come and
Yes.
join. Your job is going to be the host, especially really early on when people are just starting to get to know each other. You're going to need to kind of facilitate that a little bit. You know, organize some games, make sure things are going on. Go interact with people, make them feel welcome. That'll make them want to come back. You know, if they remember a friendly face. You know, I know with Megan, that was a big thing for her. She came, I met her pretty early on. We'd only been doing it for a month or two. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she came and kind of like, you know, even like Jeff said, like there's all these people playing games who obviously know each other. And she was a little intimidated. And then I'd met her outside of game night real briefly and invited her. Well, I saw her there and I was like, "Oh, hey, Megan, how's it going? Like, you know, do you want to play a game?" We went, sat down and played a game. And I introduced her to the people we were playing with. And then, you know, she was more comfortable, and then she came back and remembered even more people, and then more people and more people and more people. And now, I mean, Megan's she's part of the clique.
Yes.
I'll break in someday.
So
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
but so that's a very important part of it. You know, like I said, like being friendly and being accessible.
Because you want people to come back. Because doing
Exactly.
a meetup is fine, you know, is great. But being able to do it consistently, like we said, and having people show up again and again, that's what's great. Otherwise, you just had an event.
Yep. And, you know, plan on being there the duration.
Yeah.
You know, like you can get away with leaving when it's down to like 4 people and they're staying in their one game of Catan. Like, all right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Catan. Everyone else is gone. I'm leaving. You know, but don't leave like in the middle of it. Like, oh, it's 9:00 and it's still roaring. I'm going to take off, because you want to be the face of your group. If you're trying to start it and run it, you need to be the face of it. You need to be accessible and available. So So now you've had your game night. It's been successful. And then this is where, like Zach just mentioned, consistency is going to be key from here on out. The next week, month, whatever you've set for your time frame, be ready. Hey guys, we're doing this again. It's going on again. Get excited, get ready. And then same thing, be available, be hostly. And over time, you'll build a group kind of like we did, where now it largely runs itself. There's enough core regulars who know how things run and get people involved. So as with anything in life, there's bound to be difficulties. There's going to be, even our group hasn't been without, interesting little
drama.
Yeah. Thankfully, there hasn't been too much.
No. Yeah. It's never really, it's all been outside of game night, because a lot of us became friends because of game night, and then we just started doing friend stuff
outside of game
night.
Right. And so, if you run a big enough group, there's going to be
personality clashes. People will date if it's a mixed group of men and women and anybody, like there's going to be dating and stuff, and then
similar interests and weird.
Yeah. And whenever there's dating, there's inevitably at some point broken hearts and hard feelings. And that can make things interesting.
And you want people to feel comfortable while they're there. You don't want people to just feel, some people feel awkward, but that's
and so don't be afraid if there's a situation that's brewing. Like if somebody's being a problem, there's tons of threads on board game subreddits and stuff talking about things like this, and it'll vary wildly from situation to situation. But don't be afraid to pull them aside and be like, hey, look, you need to fix this.
Yeah, as the leader.
Yeah,
you need to be able to.
People are going to come to you. I get messages, private messages on Facebook all the time, like, hey, this happened. Like, what do you want to do about that? Like, how do you want to handle this? What do you want to do that? And half the time I'm like, why are people coming to me? Oh, because I'm the leader.
Yeah.
You
asked for
I'm
this.
who people look for. Yeah, I asked for it.
You did.
So, other more casual kind of problems, like some of those get a little bit deep and heavy there. Other like more casual problems, like there's going to be issues with venues. Sometimes you're going to end up double booked, and that's just going to happen.
Understaffed.
They'll be closed that day.
They'll be closed. That's happened.
This is where getting a relationship with various locations like we did was great, because at least once a place was straight up closed, or it was a private event, and we're just like, oh, call up a brewery. Hey, can we just come here today? And they're like, yeah, totally. Come on. Yeah.
That kind of fits our particular setup where we rotate breweries. We have a bunch of relationships. So if, one forgets about us because we're booked 3 months out, we can bounce over to somewhere else. If you are in a situation where you end up finding like a specific venue that you go to regularly, then you shouldn't have some of those issues. Like they shouldn't be closed randomly without you knowing about it in advance. But even like things like there might be just a random business meeting that like they don't tell the bar about it. They just bring in their entire 100-person business for a happy hour. Or,
which the bar isn't really going to be like, oh, excuse me, we have 30 people for game night here, so you can't be, your 100 people
take
can't
your
be here.
money and go home.
So there will likely be issues, and so sometimes you got to roll with the punches. You got to deal with them as they come. Don't burn bridges.
No, definitely don't do that.
That's a huge thing. If you've got a good venue going and there's an issue, don't
be entitled.
Yeah.
Don't be like, oh, we do this, so you guys need to do all of these things, because,
No, because it's definitely a symbiotic relationship. They give you a place to go and hang out and play your games and have fun, and in exchange you give them business.
Called for bloodlust against some venues.
It's true.
Oh, yeah. And I play the role of the good leader. I listen to their concerns. I calm them down.
And immediately ignore them.
Don't ignore them. I address them in a much less vitriolic manner with the business when there's an issue, and we resolve it and move on.
Yep. And if it can't be resolved, then
and sometimes
concludes your relationship.
It concludes your relationship.
That's a good callback.
Yes.
So, but no, I can say from experience, from 3.5 years of doing this, it is so incredibly rewarding, especially like the way we have ours with this huge meetup. I've met, with the exception of exactly 2 people, everyone I know in Denver, I know somehow tangentially through game night.
Yes.
My friend circle in Denver is extensive, and I owe it all to this game night. This podcast.
It is 2 for me as well. Well, yes, as well.
Yeah, and so it's incredibly rewarding. It's definitely worth it. If you have an interest in starting a game night group, if you're looking for people to play games with, get out there, take the initiative, go for it. Yeah, and even if you don't want to start one, look for them. They exist. There's
They
groups
do.
of people playing games, and the thing about board gamers that I love is they don't care who you are or what you're about as long as you're down to play games within reason.
Within reason, yeah.
But for the most part, if it's somebody else to play games with, hell yeah, we're in. So.
I only like to play games if I can set them on fire. Don't play with those people.
No.
Yeah, they're not cool people.
No, they're not.
But so I mean, I think that pretty much covers our rundown of how to start a successful game night group and run one. If you have more questions about that, you can get in touch with us. But we have some specific questions.
We do.
That need answering from Mike from Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this continues our email section.
Yes, it does.
He has some more specific questions that we sort of covered a little bit.
And these will relate, because I'm pretty sure from reading over that email, these relate. He had specific questions about our game night.
Yes,
so this is going to be very specific to us and our group. You could still maybe take something away for your group.
Hopefully.
From how we do things.
First question. Do you tend to stick with regulars or a pretty good stream of new people?
It's a mix.
For us, this is a huge mix. We definitely have, I'd say you can divide game night roughly into 4 groups. You have your like super core group, most of which, I mean, there's a bunch of us who have been doing this all 3.5 years. And then even you get people like Jeff who've been coming now for over a year and are definitely like
They make it a weekly,
and they're going to be there pretty much week in and week out, barring.
People have texted me. It's like, are you coming?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm just out of late work.
It's 6:10. Where are you?
Where's Jeff?
So there's the core group. Then there's a much larger, broader group, and this makes up the vast majority of the membership. They're occasional. Like, they drop in here and there. You won't see them for a few weeks, and then they'll be back for a few weeks, and then they're hit or miss. Some of them you'll see at one venue. Like,
yes.
And like that, oh, that must be close to their house. That's the one they can walk to.
Yes, yeah.
It's all those young professionals.
So there's definitely that. Then there's like the incredibly sporadic, and some of those, like some people who were regulars have become super sporadic because life has gotten in the way. They have things
Fucking
going
life,
on.
man.
Stupid life. Some of them are just people who, for whatever reason, maybe they're only off, one Wednesday a month or something,
Yeah.
and they just don't come regularly enough to really.
That's the one problem with
into the
having
group.
on one day is that there have been a lot of people that are like, man, if you guys could only do it on a different day.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of us that Wednesday is the best night for it. And so it's just...
I'm off every Wednesday.
Well, and
Yeah.
I could not dedicate an entire another night to doing it. So it'd almost need to be somebody else who wanted to take the initiative with like my support and help. I could do that, but like I'm not going to go every week, twice a week to
Yes.
game night. I can't put that much time into it.
Yeah.
And then there's the brand newbies. We get probably 5 to 10
At
a
least,
week
yeah.
that have never come before. So good mix.
Yeah. Next question. Do people come in knowing about hobby board games?
Knowing about, yes.
Mostly, yeah. I would say most people are at least vaguely aware. It's been a long time since we've had somebody show up and be like, "Hey, so are we going to play Monopoly?" It has happened.
Yes.
Maybe not Monopoly, but
maybe
like
a couple of months.
Scrabble
Or
or
just
Risk.
yeah.
But for the most part, everybody comes in. They at least know some of the really common intro ones, the ones that have seeped into pop culture, like Catan,
Catan, Pandemic, it's like some of those beginner
Ticket to
ones.
Ride,
Yes,
some of
exactly.
those. It's still not uncommon for like somebody to show up and be like, "Oh yeah, I know Catan," and be like, "Oh well, we've got like this like list of 7 games." Like, I have not heard of any of those.
No. And then obviously you also get the people that are like that are super heavy into games too, and that's always great.
Yeah, they're like, "I just moved here. I've got like 100 board game collection. I'm so excited."
I
Yes.
couldn't bring clothes in my car. Only board games.
Only board games.
So
First, put on some pants, and then you can play.
And we've even run into people that just showed up to the brewery not knowing there was a game event and learned about the game event.
Or
Yes.
there's been people who showed up like at a brewery. Like, it happened just a few weeks ago at Cerebral. Like, there was a group of people playing Catan, and they were 4 new people. I hadn't seen them before, and so I stopped by. I was like, "Hey, you guys here for game night?" And they're like, "No, what's that?" It's like all these gamers over here on
Yeah.
that side of the brewery. That's game night, and so, but no, most people are at least vaguely aware of hobby games.
And a lot of times, people that aren't aware of hobby games know a lot of the card games that
They do,
people
yes.
play. Like cribbage. Oh, yeah, I'm from the Midwest like everyone else.
Euchre,
Yeah. So
Next question. Do you end up playing a lot of easier, lighter games, or do you get to try out new stuff on a regular basis?
Yeah, and this is where I mentioned that we'd come back to this because I knew this question was in here. Our group started out playing... I mean, we started out with like Catan, Ticket to Ride and stuff, but we definitely kind of, for a while, there was a
lot of heavy
decent
games.
subsect that played heavy games. Like, Zach, I'm pretty sure you and I both learned Archipelago.
Yes.
At game night. I learned Dominant Species. The first time I played that was at game night.
Oh, God.
And they took up the entire game night. Like, we get there at 6 and start this game, and then like, oh shit, it's 10:30. Like, and I've only played this one game the whole time.
We're in turn 2.
Yeah.
We have moved away from that a fair amount as far as the overall group. We've definitely shifted more casual and lighter because the groups become almost in some ways more of a social group. This is where you go to meet the gamers that you'll meet up with on the weekend to play those heavy games.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's pretty much what we do. We'll organize on a Wednesday night like, hey, oh wait, all 7 of us are free all day Saturday? Sweet. Let's get together and play Twilight Imperium.
Exactly.
Let's get together and do some heavier gaming.
Let's make sure Jeff's working.
It's yeah.
Let's never play Scythe when Jeff is available.
Yes.
Exactly.
So it's definitely shifted lighter. We do still occasionally see heavier games.
A lot of times it's to do with space.
Yes.
Space is a huge concern, whether there's actually table space. A lot of them are little small square bar tables. It's good for like Flux or Catan. Not so great for Dominant Species or some of those other huge board games.
Yeah.
So,
Eldritch Horror.
Yeah. Game of Thrones, stuff like that.
No, yeah, exactly.
So, all right.
Do you guys have a place where you post your Wednesday night meetup locations?
Reddit and Facebook.
Reddit and Facebook, yes. And we have... So we post...
Denver.
Yeah. So we post on the Denver subreddit, r/Denver, every Wednesday morning. The location where we're going to go. And we have a pretty set format. That's where it is, who's invited, which, like we said, everybody's invited. So it's anyone and everyone. We mentioned food trucks, if there's going to be a food truck, and just give any other general detail. If it's somewhere that has weird parking, we'll throw that in. There is also, we have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. The Facebook group, in case anybody's interested, is facebook.com. It's on r/Denver Game Night.
I'm pretty sure no one is.
Yeah, probably. Anybody who is probably already in the group.
Yeah.
And then we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Denver Game Night, or Denver Board Game Night. And we use both those to post about where we're going and be in touch with venues and then other events. Like the group's a great place. If you're wanting to play on not a Wednesday, you can be like, hey, I want to play this game. Who wants to play with me?
Yeah.
So
a lot of times we'll be like, hey, I'm going to this brewery with a couple games if anyone wants to join. And sometimes a couple of people, I've seen 20 people show up to one of those before. So.
Yeah. So we even have a spin-off group that started through them every other Sunday for Magic and Mimosas, 2-player card games. So
Old Magic.
Old Magic.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the last one?
That's it from his email.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, so there you go, Mike. I hope we answered your questions satisfactorily. And if you ever make that hour-and-a-half journey up here to Denver, we would love to play some games with you.
Yes, we would.
So be in touch.
Indeed.
And
we do have another email.
Yes,
we do have
do.
another email.
This is probably from someone we know, but it is not from someone at this table.
No,
definitely.
That we are aware of.
Yes.
No.
I'm going to read it.
Zach's going to read it.
Yeah.
All right.
You read the last one.
Okay.
So this is from mhgghater@gmail.com. I love the touch of that.
Yes.
Make sure you give out the email so everyone else can email them.
That's fine. Hey, jackasses.
Period.
It's Robinson Crusoe. That's Crusoe, not Caruso.
Which I agree with, and
Yes.
I mispronounced.
Yes, and we didn't catch it. That was the bad
Yep.
thing. So I feel bad.
I still say Caruso.
Yeah, you're
And
still
you're
saying
still
it
wrong.
wrong. Yeah. There's no A in the last name. Get it right.
No.
Also, you're wrong. Twilight Imperium sucks.
Also no.
How much free time do you guys have?
A lot.
We do. We have a lot of free
Yeah,
time.
quite a few.
How else can we play Twilight Imperium? And what kind of masochist is Adrian that he loves games that make him hate himself? Jesus.
Well, I'm a huge masochist, but I don't play games that make me hate myself. I might get frustrated at the game. Floor-slappingly
frustrated.
And then, whatever losers, yours truly.
I love the hate mail.
Yes, it was. I appreciate it.
I think it's very fitting that within a span of 24-ish hours, we got our first actual fan mail and our first hate mail.
Yes.
Although I'm not sure it's actual hate mail.
I don't
I'm
know.
going to be
I
honest, I don't
doubt
believe
it.
it.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
was-
one of our friends.
That's fine.
Yeah, it was like
Equally
Thursday.
being a jackass. He
Yeah.
accuses us of being jackasses. It's yeah.
Yeah,
That'll happen.
It will happen. We've got great friends.
we do.
Obviously, as you've seen, we've promised it for 15-ish episodes, and we deliver. If you send us emails, we will read them.
Oh, yes.
And we will reply in kind.
Sometimes we'll base a whole section around it.
A whole section.
A whole section. The email section.
Yeah. So, if you want to get in touch with us, if you have questions, comments, criticisms, corrections, if we mispronounce a game or word.
If Adrian mispronounces it. When Adrian mispronounces a game.
Asmodee.
Yes.
I know. I've corrected myself on that one.
But you still say it wrong, too.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, so email us. Emails at milehighgameguys.com. If you want to send us individual hate mail, we all have our own individual email addresses. It's our names, Adrian, Jeff, Zach, at milehighgameguys.com. Mm-hmm. You can send us public hate mail or, fan mail on Twitter at MHGameGuys.
And I have a Twitter at Jeff_MHGG if you want to individually hate me.
Publicly.
Publicly.
Individually hate publicly.
Yes. We give you a lot of options.
Yeah.
Because I guess we really do hate ourselves.
We do.
Yeah.
We post a lot of pictures of the games we play and the things we do on our Instagram at milehighgameguys. And we have a Facebook page that you should totally go like and subscribe to, facebook.com/milehighgameguys.
Yes.
And I think that about wraps up this episode. Any final thoughts from you guys?
There's a fly.
Zach's
That's
just
annoying me.
slapping himself in the face. I want to leave that in.
That's fine. Go for it.
But, all right. Well, I've been Adrian.
I'm still Zach.
I am a Jeff.
And it has been a blast. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
See ya.
Bye.